I have to say, I feel like a rock star. This is amazing.
Wow, so many wonderful humans out there.
Not so skeptical now, are we, about psychology?
Love life and enjoy every moment.
Thank you very much. Wow, what an amazing story that was. I'm all inspired now to go and get my garden going. Is everybody else? It's just extraordinary. I've been told you guys are a great audience, and I can tell, even though you're sort of in the dark there, but thank you so much for giving up your Tuesday afternoon to learn a little bit about the joy of walking. Can you hear me? Am I working? Oh, okay. So I discovered the joy of walking nearly 20 years ago after hitting a really rock bottom patch in my life. I was actually fighting 40. Does anybody remember that? You guys are probably all too young to remember that. Fighting 40, feeling pretty flabby. I was on the working mum treadmill. And I was actually doing a really crap job of everything in my life. I was also at the time in a dysfunctional relationship. And that ended really badly. It ended up with me being displaced, all of my children farmed out into different locations. And at the time I was trying to protect them while building my fledgling social enterprise. So I now talk about that as being my midwife crisis. It wasn't funny at the time, actually. I was worse than miserable, and I didn't know how to fix myself. But what I now know is that what I was feeling is not that unusual. Many people feel the way I felt. There's some research by Keyes, and it's a little bit old now, but still you get the gist. And what Keyes found, they interviewed thousands of people, and they found that 10% of us suffer from some sort of mental illness, whether it's anxiety or depression. They found that 70% of us say that most of the time we're kind of languishing, and only 20% of us are flourishing. That's a really scary statistic, isn't it? Does anybody think that is? Yeah, I thought so. You guys are probably the flourishing ones. So if you are, share how you're flourishing. But I thought that was really bad, especially since science knows and shows how we can get happier. And you guys have got a lot of those tips, but a lot of people don't know them. It's scientifically proven that small changes in your lifestyle, like connecting with others, like movement, like getting into nature, building a garden, or having a purpose, can both reduce our depression, reduce stress, improve happiness, and actually ignite joy in our lives. In fact, research by the American College of Sports Medicine found that walking just 30 minutes a day can reduce your chance of getting heart disease, obesity, diabetes, stroke. It can also reduce your chance of getting Alzheimer's and dementia, some cancers, depression, and even anxiety. That's pretty extraordinary, isn't it? By 50%. Just amazing. All of those things can be impacted just by walking. Walking also improves your immunity, lifts your mood, and helps heal the body. So I also looked at some studies, big world studies. There was a meta-analysis by a guy called Richard and his mates. They looked at happiness across 15 countries, and they found that regular walking, people who walk regularly, are happier than those who don't. And the remarkable thing is that when you lace up your runners and step outside, within 5 minutes of starting your walking, you start to feel better. Give me a wave if you're a walker. Give me a wave if you're going to be a walker after this. I hope you all are, because it's amazing. It's very powerful. Neuroscience shows that walking activates the limbic system in your brain, which is the emotional center in your brain. And it actually brings hormones that make you happy. There's so much science behind this. You can see in that picture there what your brain looks like now. How long have you been sitting? A fair bit of the day, hey? Did anybody go out at lunchtime and go walking? Oh, well done. You guys have got it. So then after you've been for your walk, just a 20-minute walk, look at all the orange and yellow in that brain. They're the things that make us healthy and happy. But most Australians aren't moving enough. In fact, 70% of us aren't moving enough to be happy. 70% of us aren't getting the recommended amount of movement in our day. Does anybody know what that amount is? Any guesses? How much are we supposed to move? What does the government say we should do? 20 minutes a day? They recommend 150 minutes per week, which is 21 minutes a day. So all that is out the door, round the block, up the stairs, lift some heavy things, and you're done. But you have to do it every day. So why aren't we moving enough? That's the big question. Well, here's a bunch of things that I found from talking to people. We're too busy, we're too tired, we're too stressed, we're too depressed. Some of us are too anxious. We might be too frightened or too embarrassed. And most often I hear, extraordinarily, think about it, this is you, we feel guilty when we go walking. Give me a wave if you feel guilty when you go walking because you think it's too much fun. None of you people. Well, that's what a lot of mums are telling me. They feel guilty. We've created a world like this poor guy where we no longer need to move to get food, to stay safe, or to connect with family and friends. In fact, most of us live in a sedentary urban environment where we've been conditioned, haven't we? We've been conditioned to rely on doctors for our sickness, on machines for our movement, and on screens for our survival. And that's not serving us well. So what do we do when we're feeling depressed, sad, bad, mad, tired? What do most of us do? All that stuff. I'm guilty. Yes, I come home from work on a Friday night and I'm exhausted. I'll eat a whole tub of ice cream. Sugar. It's one of those great addictions. We go to sugar. We have alcohol. We have tobacco. We have screens. We have drugs. We use lots of things for quick fixes. But do they really work? They might seem like they work at the time. They're short-term solutions, but they often cause long-term problems. So how do we motivate ourselves to move more? How do we motivate ourselves to choose the walk over the wine? Well, I found out quite by accident. And I'm going to go back now to when I started with my midwife crisis. This is what happened next. Out of the blue, a friend's personal trainer invited me to go and climb the highest mountain in the southern hemisphere. That's a really big mountain. Mount Aconcagua. It was 7,000 meters high. I'd never even been in a tent in my life. But I was so desperate that I signed up because I knew I needed to do something. I needed something in my life to look forward to. So I headed off on this adventure and it changed my life completely. I had something to look forward to. I had a new purpose. I had a reason to bounce out of bed and exercise. I had a reason to move my body. I talked my best friend into joining me, and together we started training for the adventure of our lifetime. We would get out of bed before dawn because we were working mums. When else does a mum go walking? Before dawn, we'd jump out of bed, we'd go, yeah, we're going to go hiking. And we knew that when we went hiking, we felt really good. It was amazing. It was a really magical thing. We also learnt a few unexpected things along the way. Anybody know what that is? Well, you learn unusual things when you step outside your comfort zone. We learned how to wee into a Ziploc bag at 6,000 meters in a tent. And the reason we learned that was because our guide said, of course you can't leave the tent, girls. You're at 6,000 meters. There's crevasses, there's blizzards, there's drop-offs. Imagine you have to zip it up before you pull up your pants. I know. We also learned that you can live on nothing but Milo for a week and how to use just one wet wipe to clean your entire body. It's amazing what you learn. But also at times we feared for our life. This was a big mountain. We heard stories of frostbite, fatal falls, cerebral edema. But we also learnt resilience and mental toughness, and we experienced the natural exhilaration of moving and an adventure, and that was amazing. We failed to reach the summit of the mountain, which at the time was devastating. I wasn't used to big failures. It was a public failure too, because everybody at the surf club knew I was going to go climb this mountain. But I later realised that it wasn't the summit that mattered. I discovered something far more powerful than a breathtaking view. And that view wasn't from the summit, that was halfway up the mountain. I discovered that when you have a big, hairy, audacious goal to look forward to, you're not only much happier, but you also change your behavior. This changed me, and I became really committed to helping others experience the same thing. It didn't solve my problems, but it helped me manage them better. Walking gave me the power I needed to get my life back into control. And walking with women provided me with the joy that allowed me to manage my problems. So, what I've learned is that big goals shift your behavior. Whether it's in life, in the office, no matter what it is in your life, something big, a big adventure. For me, it's a hiking adventure. For you, it might be another kind of adventure. But you'll change your behavior when you've got a big goal. Remember when you were preparing for the HSC and you cut back on your social life, maybe? Or maybe you lost weight and got fit for your wedding? Or perhaps you trained really hard to get a spot on a sporting team so you could hang out with your mates? Or maybe like Bridget, you fancied somebody so you started working out to impress them? Big goals motivate you to change behavior. And for me, it's changed my life because I've now spent my entire life devoted to helping others experience the joy of adventure. I've got a fantastic team, and every day we work really hard to inspire and empower others to lead adventurous lives they love. Every now and again, they let me loose, and I go to somewhere remote and spectacular with a group of women from all walks of life, and I help them learn the joy that comes from having a big adventure goal. But it can be addictive. Oh, now I've got to go back. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you about. This is my team. We've created now a social purpose business that's inspired nearly 30,000 people to get off the couch and hiking 30 to 60 kilometres, pretty much without stopping, with their friends. And along the way, we've raised nearly $25 million for charity. And going back, thank you, I'm as amazed as anybody. A charity will also motivate you, and I'm sure that Hayley's talked a bit about that with her do-goodology. It's fantastic when you're working for somebody else, supporting someone else, serving someone else. It motivates you. So I've wrapped this in to our fitness goals. But what's most exciting and what I'm most proud of is that 98% of our hikers achieve their goal, and 70% of them feel awesome because not only have they achieved something they never thought they could do, but they've made walking a regular ritual. So here they are, our Coastrekkers crossing the finishing line. They're actually exhausted. They've just walked 30 or 60 kilometres. But do they look elated? Well, that elation lasts for weeks. The exhaustion passes. The elation lasts. My hope is that their healthy habits will last a lifetime. Because once you discover the power of a fitness or adventure goal to motivate you, there's no turning back. This lady here in the red jacket, Chris Burke, she was one of my clients. She got so addicted to adventure that she quit her job as a corporate lawyer, sold her house, and within a couple of years she went and climbed Mount Everest. Amazing. The lady jumping like that, guess how old she is? She's 65. So she was really in a bad way. In fact, she was hospitalized just 5 years ago. She was hospitalized with crippling anxiety. Now, she used walking with women as a way to treat her anxiety. And now she's become our most popular coach. You can't get a spot in one of her groups. She takes women around Australia and around the world and gets them fit for adventure. So, just quickly, if it doesn't scare you, it's not going to change you. You don't have to leave your job and you don't have to climb Everest, but you do need to have some things that scare you a little bit. Maybe it's 10,000 steps a day. Maybe it's a charity hike like Coastrek. Maybe you want to go to Everest Base Camp. But whatever you choose, choose something that scares you, and that will motivate you to get moving and take your friends with you. Find your mountain, make it a big one. Get out there, get healthy, get happy, and please, if you do nothing else, share this with your buddies. Walk out that front door. Thank you very much.